单都虎嘅。
A mysterious assassin, known as the Man with the Golden Gun, has stolen China's national treasure, the Tyrannosaurus skull fossil. He murders many of the country's top agents with his fire-functioning gun and manages to escape. The government officials are shocked by this incident, and they order Commander Chan to retrieve the missing dinosaur skull at any cost. Next, we're introduced to Ling Chai, who is poor at target shooting, has a low IQ, and is short in height. With the help of his senior agent Tatman Si, he used to work as a backup agent a few years ago. However, after being coldly treated by the Intelligence Bureau, he's been hiding in Shenzhen's market for 10 years, pretending to be a pork vendor. Since he's so poor, he can't even pay an escort, so he tries to settle the debt by offering pork. His former senior agent, Tatman Si, approaches him and asks him to work for the Intelligence Bureau again. Then he takes Ling Chai to Commander Chan, who assigns him to Hong Kong to find the thief of the dinosaur skull. Tatman Si gives Ling Chai some useless objects that he invented. The Commander Chan gives him money to buy a new suit. Since the dinosaur skull was stolen from Shenyang, Commander Chan of the Shenyang military region is held accountable for the incident. Later, he's approached by another chief who is outraged and accuses him of covering up the gangsters and sending the clueless and incompetent Ling Chai to investigate the case. Commander Chan tries to convince the chief that Ling Chai is a good spy, even though he appears silly, but the chief is not convinced. Then, Commander Chan threatens him not to get involved in the matter, but the chief disagrees and says he will conduct his own investigation. As the chief tries to leave, Commander Chan's subordinate, Hyun Kam, pierces his head with a sharp pencil. The commander then pulls out the golden gun and uses its fire-breathing function to burn the chief's body. The man with the golden gun is revealed to be Commander Chan, who conspires to place the blame on Hong Kong gangster Lai Yao-wai. He then orders Hyun Kam to kill Ling Chai in Hong Kong. In this comedic action film, a giant dinosaur skull is stolen, and the head of the Chinese secret police decides to assign the case to Ling Chai, an incompetent rural butcher. With a truckload of insanely useless gadgets, Ling Chai must locate the skull and find out what's going on with the case. But things get a little shaky, as there's some insanely wicked plot twists. Watch till the end to find out if this young agent survives this mania. Now back to the video. Ling Chai is directed to meet Hyun Kam upon his arrival in Hong Kong. He notices her feeding the dogs in the street, and after a brief introduction, she takes him to her home. As they get to know each other, Hyun Kam thinks of him as a fool because of his strange behavior and weird props. Ling Chai reveals to her that he doesn't know how to shoot a gun properly, but he is a knife expert and it's his specialty. Then Hyun Kam shows different types of guns to him and also tries to kill him numerous times, but she accidentally shoots herself twice and ends up injuring herself. Meanwhile, Commander Chan calls her and tells her that she must kill Ling Chai under the roof of Hong Kong gangster Lai Yao-wai's house so that the blame can be placed on him. Next, Ling Chai and Hyun Kam go to the restaurant for lunch together, where a photographer captures their picture while they're talking. Being a little angry, they grab and argue with the photographer for taking their picture without consent, but when they see how beautiful it turned out, they let him go. Later, Ling Chai befriends 3 guys from his hometown. However, Hyun Kam quickly realizes that those guys are dangerous, and she deliberately leaves Ling Chai with them so that he will be killed. After some time, those guys rob a jewelry store, kill many people, and also take Ling Chai hostage. After they brutally shoot a little boy's father who was begging for his son's life, Ling Chai uses his skills to kill all 3 robbers with his knives. Seeing this, Hyun Kam is amazed by his abilities and develops a soft spot for him. Afterward, when she expresses that she doesn't want to kill him, Commander Chan explains that Ling Chai is a murderer who has raped numerous women and children, and thus he must be killed. He also reminds her that her parents and godfather were traitors and that everything she is today is because of his grace, so she must obey his orders. The next evening, Ling Chai and Hyun Kam arrive in front of Lai Yao-wai's house, and before entering, he tells her that he will bring her some white roses. He sneaks into the party to gather information since he suspects Lai Yao-wai of stealing the skull. However, while spying on Lai Yao-wai, he receives no information and only overhears the recipe for pork rib soup and information about the football game. Meanwhile, Hyun Kam remains outside, getting ready to shoot him when the opportunity arises. She directs Ling Chai to remain calm in front of the piano near the swimming pool so she can shoot him. But when he begins to sing, she becomes captivated and is unable to shoot him since the song reminds her of her late mother. A lady arrives and approaches Ling Chai and tells him that she's waiting for a very important man. She then shows him his picture from the restaurant earlier and begins kissing him on the cheek. Suddenly, a shooting starts out of nowhere and that woman, along with a guy with golden teeth, tries to kill him. However, using his skills, he attacks them with knives and hides in the bushes, but as he walks to an open space, Hyunkam shoots him multiple times all over his body. Believing that she has completed the task, Hyunkam gets into the car and tries to drive away, but surprisingly, he also gets into the car. As it turns out, he was wearing a bulletproof vest and was only shot in the thigh. At that point, Hyunkam tries to get her gun to kill him, but Ling Chai gives her the white rose that he had just picked from the bushes. When she realizes she shot him while he was trying to get the roses for her, she becomes emotional and decides to take him home to treat his wound. Meanwhile, the man with the golden teeth stands in their path, trying to kill them, but they manage to run him over and escape. At home, Ling Chai's wound worsens and he loses a lot of blood, while Hyunkam is clueless about what to do. She gathers all of the necessary medications to help him in taking out the bullet. Then he directs her on how to remove the bullet, and because they don't have anesthesia, he distracts himself by showing him adult videos. After some struggle, she successfully manages to take the bullet out. As she hugs him with happiness, he notices the bullet and realizes it was her who shot him earlier. Confused, he questions her about her relationship with the man with the golden gun, but she refuses to answer, claiming it's against her duty. She then hands him a gun and requests that he shoot her, but he instead shoots the plates, claiming he can't aim properly. After that, he storms out, stating that he hopes to never see her again. Soon after, she hears a knock on the door, and thinking it's Ling Chai, she rushes over to hug him and tell him the truth about the Commander Chan. However, it turns out that it's the lady from the party, dressed as Ling Chai. She points a gun at Hyunkam, while the guy with the golden teeth shows up, smashing the window. They both abduct Hyunkam, and since she's outnumbered, they force her to reveal Commander Chan's whereabouts. Ling Chai returns to mainland China, and still unaware of Commander Chan's truth, he tells him about Hyunkam's betrayal. Commander Chan also pretends to sympathize with him, but soon he tricks him into signing a document declaring that he is a traitor. Then he orders Ling Chai to be taken to the execution ground, where many prisoners are being killed unfairly with rifles and bazookas. Next, the man with the golden teeth and the woman arrive in China to take revenge on Commander Chan. Seeing this, Commander Chan gets furious and shoots Hyunkam for disclosing his location. Thankfully, Hyunkam is wearing a bulletproof vest, so she doesn't die, but she now opposes him. They then engage in a battle where everyone shows their fighting skills. After a long, fierce fight, Commander Chan manages to kill the guy with the golden teeth and his companion. When he's about to kill Hyunkam, Ling Chai appears and stops him. It turns out that Ling Chai bribed the chief executioner with money to let him go. Before leaving the execution ground, he also smoked with the execution captain and the team members, saying goodbye to each other. Tutman Si shows up just that moment and tries to kill Commander Chan, but he gets injured and leaves. Then they engage in a fight for a while, but at that moment, Ling Chai pulls out his pork knife and chops off Commander Chan's head. As a result, he successfully reclaims China's national treasure and becomes a true hero. In the final scene, we see Tutman Si has been promoted to the head commander. Ling Chai and Hyunkam are in a relationship, and he doesn't return to the intelligence bureau, but instead, he chooses his previous job and continues to work as a pork dealer. The end. I hope you enjoyed the video. What was your favorite part? Do comment down below. Also, make sure to hit the like button as it helps the channel tremendously. And if you haven't done it already, consider subscribing. And if you want to continue with more recaps like this, check out this video now.